I am being told we're going live in just right now, to be honest. And this is, of course, Dansk Metal Star League round number 6, and I'm just gonna make sure everything is all right, and I think they are. I'm just going to get our current resident observer into the game by inviting him, of course. There we go. And today we are going to watch, as you can see on the screen right now, Sonder versus DroW in the first round here, in the round of 6 of Dansk Metal Star League DMSL. And it's going, of course, going to be a CVP. And I'm just going to get us started here by hitting the watch button, and then we can talk about this tournament, of course, a little bit more once we are getting into the game. And of course, my name is Ollidan, and streaming tonight is TNT Master in the background here, and I would like to thank him for doing that because it was on a short notice, to be honest. Something went wrong, so yeah. We're starting off here in Newkirk Precinct with the 2 players here, and right now we're looking at one of our players, and it's Copenhagen Wolves Sonder, and he's playing Zerg, and he's currently green. And in the lower right hand corner on this map we have our Protoss player for this game, this series. It's DroW, and he's playing the red colors. And yeah, we are starting off here. Of course, this is Dansk Metal Star League, and we're getting kind of close to the end here. And these matches mean a lot depending on where you want to go in your league. And of course, these 2 players are from Super Division 2, and DroW is currently sitting at -2 points, while Sonder is sitting at +5. But it's still possible for DroW, if he wins this and then win his next match, to actually get into the top 4 in this group, especially if Thorminator, Sonder, or CupCake loses one of their next fights with anyone in division. So there's a real chance that DroW could move into the top 4, so he needs to play perfectly here and win versus Sonder. And we have seen DroW's amazing CVP earlier when he smashed Avekatten 2-1, and that was quite an upset. We did not expect that because Avekatten had been leading that group for the entire time, and he has only lost a map to DroW to this point. Of course, not counting this current round we are sitting in, and that is, of course, round 6. And we see here DroW starting off with his gateway and gas, as he usually does, versus Zerg here in Heart of Swarm, which is something not a lot of the Danish Protoss are doing versus Zerg. They're usually just going for that Forge Fast Expand that we have seen for all eternity. But DroW mixing it up and going for a little bit more aggressive opening, a bit more tech-heavy opening, also getting his second gas guys here as he usually does, while Sonder, of course, taking his hatchery quite early here, but not before he has built a pool, because he knows he needs those early links to scout and also maybe to put on some pressure. We know that Sonder is one of those Zerg players that like to punish his opponent with sudden circling attacks and something like that to put on the pressure and maybe bank and get some money out of his opponent's mistakes. But here we see DroW going for the expand, of course, here quite early, before any units out, actually. He hasn't even scouted yet, so he's pretty confident in the fact that Sonder is going to go for this early hatchery for second or first, to be honest, and then he is going to get out his mothership core, which is going to, of course, defend him quite nicely against any ground that is going to come out of Sonder, since he does not have anything to shoot up. And here Sonder, he sits at a 5-point lead here in this group. He has 5 loss points, so he's feeling comfortable in the top 4 at the moment. But again, he also needs to be careful, because losses can really be detrimental at this point, especially if you do not take a game of your opponent, which would be quite sad, since we have seen Sonder play so well in the Wings of Liberty. Haven't quite seen the same level of play in Heart of the Swarm from him, but exams and stuff, I'm sure they're keeping him away from the game quite a bit, since those need to be passed, so you don't have to do anything extra, so you can play more Heart of the Swarm in summer holidays. And here we see the Overlord getting in here from Sonder and scouts the natural expand, sees the expansion, and also, of course, spots the 2 gateways at the front and the forge. We now see that the cybernetics core is finishing up War Grade research, and then we might see DroW do some aggression soon, as we see his +1 getting started here and almost at the 1/4 way done here. Also warping in more sentries and a Zealot at the front, so it could be some Zealot sentry pressure here, and Sonder needs to spot that, and he comes here with his 2 circlings, and yeah, and he pulls right back as he sees the forge actually researching. But no cannons up for DroW here, since he has these sentries to defend, and of course force field, and then that will buy him the time to put up any cannons if Sonder is going to go aggressive. But Sonder has not yet taken a 3rd base, so he's going to be sitting here for a while, getting up some upgrades and getting up his roach warren and some gas here, as he has taken the 2nd gas in his natural and is now working on 3rd in the main base. But you see the mothership core is out here and scouting about, not being spotted quite yet, but it's going to check for any expansions, and there are no 3rd, he sees. So now DroW is moving out with his force here, Zealot sentry, and he has quite a bit of energy on those sentries, so it's going to be really effective here. The 3rd base has just now been plotted down for Sonder, but DroW, I do not believe did he spot that? No, he has not seen that yet, so he's moving in here. But there's only circlings here for Sonder, so Sonder needs to be really, really careful. Good force fields and these Zealots could really be detrimental, but DroW is waiting for this +1 before he engages. It's going to be really, really crucial in order to get these Zealots to be more effective against this. Behind this, DroW is getting up Twilight Counts and Robo, but here come 2 force fields, 3 force fields, not the best in the world, only blocking to the left side, but now it's blocking a lot of roaches, so it's quite good. But the circlings were absolutely slaughtered here. More force fields come down here to trap the roaches, but here we see that he had the mothership core with him and he recalled back, which is really, really good. He forced a lot of units out of Sonder, and now Sonder is of course forced to go for a counterattack, even though he does not have speed on these roaches yet. And that's really, really annoying, because they move so slowly off creep without any speed. Of course, the circlings have speed up already, but they're not going to be able to do enough here, because, yeah, there are Zealots and a cannon here with the sentries also to spot this. And we see that Sonder has gotten the Overlord speed as his kind of trademark, I would say. On this map, he likes to get it, because, of course, it's really difficult to spot into the main base without being shot down because it's so big. But now he gets into the main base and sees the robotics bay coming out here from DroW. So Sonder needs to possibly put on a lot of aggression and keep his opponent pinned, or to do some massive damage, or get hive tech really early to get some Vipers out in order to snap those Colossus back. Corruptors not being used all that much, to the point where they are never really used to counter Colossus anymore, because they're easily killed with the new air source that could come out of DroW at some point. But we see that Sonder is going up for his usual style here, getting Hydralisks out with the speed first, of course, because he's going to put on some aggression here, not having them as defensive units, and then of course puts out the swarm hosts, especially on this map, because it's so thin towards the middle, so it's really difficult for DroW to actually get around it without being spotted by Sonder, and also without him being attacked by the Locust. But we see that currently DroW is still only sitting at these sentries and some Zealots and 2 Stalkers, while the first Colossus has just been finished and is moving out across his base. And of course DroW needs to get a lot of these out in order to deal with the swarm host. And this is no good. Just used a Guardian Shield here, DroW. Must have misclicked the whole position or something like that and hit the G button instead. Luckily he didn't spam it, so his sentries still have quite a bit of energy left. But we see that Sonder has pushed his creep far forward here and moves forward with some of his units, but spots the Colossus. And both players take a defensive posture. DroW pulling back, and Sonder still staying at his position. The first 3 swarm hosts are here in the middle of the map, and the 4th base is just halfway done here for Sonder. So he's going to put on some pressure here, and of course secure his 4th behind it. We see that DroW keeps on putting these Phoenix through Sonder's main base, and He has spotted the infestation pit and also these swarm hosts, so he should know what is coming for him at this point. And he also spotted the hive in production here. But we see the first locust moving on toward the third base here. Not making it, unfortunately, for those, because, yeah, of course, time is of the essence when you talk about swarm host. And now, of course, also the observer that spotted for DroW here was sniped, because, yeah, we saw the observer come out here from Sonder. So really smart by Sonder. DroW not being able to move up and push it back anytime soon. He's now building his second observer of the game, not having any of them out on the map besides one, which is a big deal here because, of course, these swarm hosts are buried. But we see more locusts moving on, but they're out of sync or not producing all that many, or they're moving from different angles here. But anyway, they need to be in a group in order to not be sniped off all that easily. But we see her coming in from the top here, starting to shoot at the photon cannon. But we see that DroW now makes a move forward, and Sonder smartly leapfrogs back here with his swarm host. But while he's relocating his spine crawlers, good force fields here come out from DroW to snipe off this front here with the buildings and this creep. And now we see that these swarm hosts is in dire situation and need to pull back, but one is caught in the force field. A lot of force fields spent there, but it may be worth it. DroW is gaining this position. He is winning this engagement for now. Sonder pulling back, waiting for his Vipers to come out. 4 is in the production tab, as we see here. And of course we see that +3 is almost done here for DroW, so he's poised. He's waiting for this moment, the opportunity to go in and kill Sonder's army here, and possibly even push up to a third once the creep is going to recede a bit more. But for now, he's just going to pull back. But he needs to make something happen at some point, because in the end, the Vipers are going to be absolutely crucial in Sonder's defense here and to snatch up these Colossus, because not a lot of anti-airs are for DroW that can easily one-shot these Vipers. We see that he has the High Templar tech, but no High Templars has been built yet. And now we see him taking a 4th base here, nicely tucked away, which is going to make it easy for him to defend this. We see the first 2 High Templars of the game being warped in here, but they need to be at the front, of course, and that's going to be a micro dance where they're going to be. But here we see a tiny engagement here being pulled back here. The Colossus are, but only 1 is sniped, 2 is sniped, and 2 feedbacks go off on some Vipers here, but they are not killed. They had their abduct used before that. Mothership is still sitting over here, spotting, and has full energy to maybe recall or use some time warps later on. We see some Sellers being warped in, going to counterattack the 4th base of Sonder, but Sonder's going to spot it with this circling up here, so he should know. But here, more Locusts he keeps on putting on this pressure with the Locusts, but they are far away, so they should not do anything here. I think DroW maybe overestimated the time left on those, but now they're moved off to the front, so there should be more time on them when they get to the attack range here from the Colossus. But there are so many Colossus that they deal no real damage or pose no threat to DroW's army. Meanwhile, we see the High Templars neatly tucked away. Also, Storm is ready, and a lot of them has that energy, if not all of them. R1 here is without energy, but they could go for a good Storm here. Oh, gets a few feedbacks off here, but the Colossus are still abducted, and 2 are sniped off instantly. He's going into double immortal production here to counter the Ultralisk switch. And we see that these Ultralisk are being caught here behind the Locust, not doing a lot here. Good Storms coming out here, killing off Locust and Hydralisk. Storm gets down there, not being the most effective Storm, killing off a lot of his shields on his Immortals and only damaging 1 Ultralisk here. Move forward again, needs to pull back because the Locusts are still here and they're on creep. And these Vipers are moving back forward. And oh, the High Templars are really far back, and 1 more Colossus is abducted and sniped off here. Not the best of micros here from DroW. And Sonder is doing absolutely fine in this moment. He's putting on the pressure, being the aggressor in this situation, doing what he loves to do. Right now, DroW is out of money. He's actually producing way more than he can gather here, as he builds 2 Colossus at a time and 2 Immortals at a time, and a lot of cannons also. These High Templars, though, they are quite far back here, and they need to be further forward, because these Vipers are going to do so much damage by pulling those Colossus out that the splash damage is going to be significantly reduced. And now I actually popped off the Mothership course, overcharge here on the Nexus for no apparent reason at the moment. But here we come, Sonder not waiting for it to go away. Runs in with these Ultralisk and this good abduction here from the Vipers. The Storm comes out, but it only hits Locust, and the Storm hits a lot of Stalkers as well, not being the best of Storms here from DroW, but he's doing what he can in order to defend this. Moves forward here. Needs to be careful though. These Locusts deal a lot of damage. Sonder behind this, taking up a 5th base. Well, meanwhile, we see that DroW tried to take a 5th as well, but it was denied by a circling. So he needs to find the time, the energy to go on and stop that from happening. He has a Zealot over there, but not really using it. And here we see more Locusts again. They're cheap, and of course they cost nothing. And it's really expensive for DroW to keep on replacing these Colossus versus these Locusts, as these Vipers are really doing what they need to do in their abducts and really keeping the Colossus count low. But we see DroW, I think he is at enough soon. He has morphed into Archons at the moment, still producing some Immortals, warping in Stalkers, and he's closing in on the max supply here. But here we see another engagement with these Locusts, killing off some shields, but not really a whole lot. But here we go again, putting down an early time warp here from the Mothership Core in order to stop these Hydralisk and or Roaches or Ultras to move forward. Quite as fast, but good blinding clouds come out. But and a fantastic feedback gets out here. So there's no abducts for these Colossus, but Sonder is instantly popping off some eggs here to produce some Ultralisks. But yeah, this Spine Crawl was going to take a while for DroW to get through. And meanwhile, Sonder has the time to pull on back and reburrow his Swarm Host and build some more Locusts here. And yep, there we go. And now he moves in again with Ultras, getting a lot of these High Templars out of position, which is no good. They're really expensive in gas, and they were almost able to storm right there. More Ultras here being sniped. Ooh, Sonder, you need to be careful now. He's sacrificing them to deal a lot of damage to these Stalkers. But yeah, no observers are currently out on the field here from DroW, so these Swarm Hosts are going to be really, really annoying for him, because he cannot continue here, because he's going to be sandwiched between Ultralisk and Locust deals so much damage, and Ultralisk tanks so much damage. And we see the +3 armor is on the way for Sonder here, almost being completed, which is why his Ultralisk and Circling has been not up to par with the +3 attack of DroW. But they're getting there. And also he has +1 for the range attack as well, so these Locusts dealing more damage than you would normally expect. And the 5th base here from DroW is going to be absolutely denied here by a ton of Circlings going for the counter attack, and boom, there it is gone. Now he's of course trying to rebuild it, as he's about mined out in his natural as well as his main, that is completely mined out at this point. And the Locusts are moving in here once again toward the 3rd, but there are no army here, and also taking a 6th base here. DroW is, and here we come. He's going in from the side, catching some Swarm Hosts out of position here, unburrowed, killing off 3, but now they are going to burrow again and get some Locusts out. And we see that these Vipers are really being careful with where they move. Oh, the High Templars were caught, but got some feedback and good storms off here, but there's still going to be a ducted one Colossus, but it's not going to be sniped until at least the end of this battle. Sonder being pushed quite far back here. DroW looking in a good, strong position. His 3rd did not fall from that Locust swarm that went up there, so it's looking really, really good here. More Ultralisks are coming out for Sonder, but he's down in supply. He's going to lose his 3rd base here, and meanwhile DroW is of course establishing 2 more bases. The 5th almost done, and the 6th base as well. Blinking on forward here, trying to snipe off some crucial overlords here, trying to supply block Sonder. He's going to in just a moment here if he keeps on doing that. Ultralisk move in here, but the Stalkers blink away, and the Immortals are going to deal and tank a lot of that damage. And yeah, DroW looking like he's going to do this here. Sonder not looking the best of shapes here. Had a good mid-game trying to put on some pressure, but it ended up not being enough for Sonder here. And DroW actually ended up taking the game, looking a bit shaky at first, not dealing the best of damage, and being quite far back at some point, not being able to keep his Colossus alive. But he kept at it, taking a secure 5th base in the pocket there, not being harassed by anything because of his army being able to defend the 3rd and the 4th at once. So yeah, DroW showing that his PVC is one of the best at the moment because he keeps on beating good Zerg players. He has beaten Raggy, Sonder has just taken a game off here, and of course also beating Avekatten. So it appears this is where he is strongest at the moment. But we're going to take a quick 1 minute commercial break here before we move into the second replay as we set that up. So my name has been Ollidan is Ollidan, and I will see you in just a minute. Yep, hello and welcome back here to the Dansk Metal Star League. And sorry, I'm a bit stuttering here because I have gotten a new commentator with me. Not new, but he made it almost just in time for tonight. And you are Nopziiemoo.
Yes, I am back. I had some work to do at my daytime job, so I didn't know if I could make it back in time. But I watched the first game. Nice game. Going forth and back. To be honest, I thought Sonder had that one, but DroW proved me otherwise. I'm thrilled to go into the second game here.
Yeah, I'm just going to invite you, of course. Yep. Both of you should be invited, and I'm of course talking about our observer. And I'm just going to start off here, and yeah, boom, watching in 3, 2, 1, loading screen. And yeah, welcome to the stream, and of course that is Nopziiemoo, and I'm Ollidan, and we are today casting the Dansk Metal Star League round number 6.
Yes, exactly.
And we are watching the first series of tonight, and it is DroW versus Sonder. And we are spawning here on daybreak, actually. And it is going to be in a left-hand corner here, lower left-hand corner, Copenhagen Wolves green Zerg player, Sonder.
And we do have in the top right-hand corner of daybreak, we do have the Protoss just stumbling upon Sonder taking over the mid-game. We got DroW. What I read of that first game, I weren't there from the start, so didn't see what he kind of opened with, and haven't seen a lot of DroW compared to how much I've seen of Sonder lately. So I'm not familiar with DroW and how he's going to play. I'm going to see if it's going to surprise me in some way, some Stargates, whatever he's feeling like, irritating the Zerg player. But I'm expecting the same usual play out of Sonder, really aggressive plays like he normally do.
Yeah, and if we take what DroW did last game and look at what he did last time he played versus Raggy as well, it's going to be somewhat of a aggressive gateway timing with some sentries and zealots right off the bat as he goes for the gateway in the main base, and then of course takes up to some warp gates quite early, and then just moves on. And sometimes it catches his opponent off guard, but Sonder produced the amount of units that was necessary in order to force the recall out from DroW, so DroW got home. But of course, still forcing those units so they were equal on workers, which is very important when you're not going for a super fast Nexus.
Yeah, exactly. We're just going to see some standards opening here. No one is going to take a chance. Sonder just checking off if there were anything shenanigans in his base, just looking in the clouded area. So hatch first into pool. Not opting for fast gas here, getting speed out early. So it's just fairly safe macro plays right here in the start.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just going to be a quiet game for the first few minutes. Sonder, of course, in a PvC, he usually never goes for the aggressive plays that he go in CVC, where he's all over the place with builds. But here we see him scouting off with the Overlord here, spotting the same thing he did on Newkirk Precinct, or didn't spot because it was a lot more difficult to get into the main base of his opponent there. But this time, of course, getting right in before any units out again, and the Mothership Core not even started yet as the Nexus is going down. Both players taking a bit more of an economic risk here, as Sonder went for the hatch first and then the pool, and we saw DroW go for the Nexus, then the Mothership Core, while it was a little bit different on Newkirk Precinct. So both players agreeing that this is going to be a bit more of a macro game in the early game, and also seeing that this map is really big and you need to run quite far in order to get to your opponent's base.
Yes, exactly. We see Sonder having his additional 4 scoutlings out of the map. Just gonna poke up, check how far is the natural expanding going on. The Overlord in the back is gonna check if it's gonna come down some gases. He's got some other ship cores, so he knows it's just a standard opening from DroW, from what he's seen already with the 1 gate into Cybernetics core, getting a second Nexus. So he's fairly safe from what's going on now. He's seen also, I bet he saw both the gases as well. In the only 1 gas actually he saw in the main base of DroW. So these links are just running around, see if they can get in. I kind of disagree here with Sonder not trying, just to run 1 link in, while the others was tanking the sentry. But I guess he got what he wanted to see, the forge down, starting the teching and such things. So that he guessed there's not like 5 gates standing inside the main base of DroW here.
Yeah. And I feel like DroW is going to go for this sentry zealot attack to force out some units here from Sonder again. But Sonder also yet again takes up the opportunity to get an early Roach Warren instead of a 3rd base really early on, in order to be safe against these kind of attacks that DroW is going to come with eventually here when +1 is nearing completion. Or he might just skip the attack on this map and actually just go straight for the 3rd base, as we see tons of time, because it's really easy to defend this, because you can put up a great wall off and then it's easy to move between your 2 bases in order to defend. But he's building up a sentry count here, so it might be a possibility that he is going to attack relatively soon. But he has scouted with a hallucinated Phoenix, and what has he seen? He sees the 3rd base and of course a Roach Warren and the 4 gases that are down. So now it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to answer with. He warps in some more zealots and sentries, and he's going to go for the attack once again. A bit later than we saw in Newkirk Precinct, the +1 attack is already done before he's even at his opponent's base. But now we are going to see what Sonder is going to do. He's building roaches here, so he should be absolutely fine.
He is building these roaches because the Ling at the right-hand side of the map at his opponent's watchtower saw this army moving out. So he knows what's coming already. So we'll just see 4 defensive roaches. Think a miss rally, or maybe aggroing these units away I don't know else these drones were for. I assume this was an aggro taking time off, so he's able to push out some more units. Oh, he's gonna do proxy spire, but he didn't see it. He was on the way there, but he actually proxied a spire. I really like this play from Sonder here. I do really like it because it only looks like he's into roaches right now, but in like a minute or so there will be mutas popping out, and if he's not being careful, there will be mutas in his base, and he has nothing to stop it except stalkers.
Yeah, and it's going to be really difficult. Mutas, of course, now Swarm are so much stronger than Wings of Liberty with that regeneration rate they are currently having, and also with the multiple pronged harass he can put on against the low anti-air army of DroW. It's going to be absolutely insane because DroW is not going to be able to keep his third base up as he puts it down right now. It's not going to happen if DroW pushes at the front of the natural and then third and then the main base with Mutalisk. So it's going to be a tight game here for DroW, as also he hasn't spotted it. But Sonder also getting up the infestation pit. I don't know if it's just another part of the mind game, so he's going to use it. But here we see the first 8 Mutalisks are going to go down here. And actually the Phoenix did spot the infestation pit, so once again DroW thinks this is just the same build as we saw on Nuclear Precinct or something similar to it. But no, this is actually
I do really like the style that proxying this spire, because he saw the infestation pit. He said, okay, this is just going to be the same style. Like you said, it's going to be Swarm Host, Hydra later on. It will be the Vipers to abduct my Colossals. But no, really, this is just a great harassment opportunity from Sonder here. And we see the Mutalisks, they're going straight into the base almost. They're just going to make a little stop again. No, they're going into the base.
Yep, they're going in. There are no cannons here, and they are going to wreck some probe. Phase 1 already going down. This is no contest, and he warps in 2 Stalkers here, but that could easily be sniped here by the Mutalisk. And GG right there. There's well nothing he could do. Nothing he could do about that one. DroW being I can't even say if DroW was being careless or something like that, but because it's really rare you actually see any Zerg player proxy anything. So you never really scout for it, but here we see Sonder actually doing it and getting an easy win out of this game simply by attacking with Mutalisk. Of course, DroW could do nothing, so it's not like he pulled an Idra, but yeah.
I did really like the play here from Sonder. It made me smile inside, I must say. Sonder, with this proxy spire here, he just completely took his opponent off guard, and his opponent had 3 gates. He could not even produce enough stalkers to stop this. And like we all know, the sentries do not have the DPS for this, so this will just be either you're gonna hold this off eventually and lose a lot of your probes, and then you will be sucked out anyway because you don't have the economy to keep up, or you'll just GG out here. So he just wanted to get a 3rd game really quickly and say, okay, you fooled me this time, you're not gonna fool me this time, I guess. With the better scouting. He almost scouted it, but some better scouting around the map, like Sonder did, sending his 1 link just all around the map, watching out for proxy pylons and shit things. So,
yeah,
well played, Sonder.
Yeah, well played, Sonder, and we're going to go to a game number 3, but first a short 1-minute commercial break, and we'll be back in just a minute. Take care. Yep, and that was about 1 minute, you guys, and we're going to go into this game number 3 between Sonder and DroW just in one moment as we get the replay up and running. And I must say, new things are coming out here, as we saw there. First time ever I saw proxy spire out from any Danish Circ player at all. So it's really exciting, and we are going to see what's going to come out of Sonder in this game, and of course also DroW, if he's going to pull off some crazy shenanigans as his opponent. And with me tonight is Nopziiemoo here, casting Dansk Metal Star League round number 6. If he remembers to unmute his microphone.
No, I'm here.
Okay, you are there. Okay,
Yes.
You're just so silent.
Yes, I was just checking something on. I got a box of honey on my desk, and I was just checking all the weird stuff that was in it. So that's just that.
Okay. Well, I mean, there were not even a cricket, going. Yeah, I can't even make a cricket sound, but those crickets there. No crickets. I need those crickets. But yeah, we're going to load up the game on Whirlwind. We rarely see this map. Actually,
I do really like this map. It's a really nice map for, let's say, Terran, because of the drop potential. But in here, the mutas are as nice as well in the mid game, because the position of the third base, you can just wander forth and back to the main base and the third base, which means you will commit some of your opponent's army to be somewhere either at the third or in the main base, just a few units there to stop it. And when you do that, that will mean your opponent will have less units at the front, so you can just march up with your entire forces and pull your mutas out of that. So I think this is a map there's so many possibilities, really.
Yeah, and let's introduce our players here before we move forward. We have in the top left-hand corner, on this map, it's going to be Copenhagen Wolves Green Circ player Sonder, pulling it back in the last game with a proxy spire, pulling it up to 1-1 in the series. And yeah, he needs to win this in order to secure his position in the top 4, or get more comfy in the top 4.
Exactly. And in the top right-hand corner, we do have the Protoss that got fooled before. It's DroW. What I would really like to see from DroW this game, it's really harder on this map because it's so much bigger, is maybe some better scouting for anything proxy or hidden stuff going around. It's not common, really, for Circs to do this, but he did it once, and he's way more secure doing it on this map, Sonder, by doing a proxy. So I'm not sure that we're going to see it from Sonder. I just love this kind of plays, really. And
yeah, because now DroW has to wonder, are you doing something? Because what you did last game looked like what you did on first game, but now I'm not quite sure what you're going to pull out of the hat.
Exactly.
Yeah. So mind games all around, or clever plays, or whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. Where you see Sonder just drone scouting, yeah, he knows he don't want to get fooled by some stupid builds, like I call them, like proxy gateways. They're not common in Heart of the Swarm, or cannon rushing his natural, so he will be stuck on one base or anything in that array. So just save around here for Sonder, just checking everything. Opting for the quick speed on this map, if he actually puts his drone in, he does. Opting for the quick speed here, starting to mine gas earlier than he did last game, so he can do some better scouting around this time.
Yeah, of course, the Whirlwind being one of the biggest maps, bigger than Daybreak at least, in its total size, but of course these players spawned top position, which means it's going to be one of the shorter distances on the Whirlwind, but still it's quite a far way to run with anything, so speed links are going to be crucial for counterattacks, you can put them at your opponent's 4th or 5th base, and when you see them move out, just move up to the natural and try to run by, or simply just run right in if your opponent is not observant enough. And of course, as you said, the scouting is also really important because he can move around and take the middle and then put circlings all over the map and not even losing them because of the speed as his opponent move out.
But something I would like to point out here, the Protoss, I would say Sonder have a better spawning position on the map compared to where he needs to place his 3rd, eventually maybe 4th base. He could move down the map, where if DroW wants to do a 3rd expansion to his left-hand side, he will actually expand towards the Cirque, which would not be preferable for him. It would open up a lot of counter-attack paths through the 3rd, up in the main. Meanwhile, if he takes it down to the south position, it will be so far away, so he will stretch himself out faster.
But it may not get to that point, as we see DroW get the Stargate up and 4 gateways, and he is currently he's cancelled his actually cancelled his most forward pylon, so it's not going to be any pressure just now. It's just he moved up here with 4 gateways and the Stargate on his way and placed a really aggressive pylon, but then he pulled on back as he spotted no 3rd. So Sonder would have the capability of actually producing units at this point. But yeah, now he's going to start up the Phoenix production here while the Circlings are running around and looking for enemies. But a hallucinated Phoenix is getting into Sonder's main base, spotting what is going on. Again, might be able to trick his opponent into thinking, you're sending in a hallucinated Phoenix, so you're not actually building any Phoenixes. But that is exactly what he's doing. But the Circlings get into the natural expand here. It surrounds a lot of these units. Apparently the Zealot was not on hold position, and the Circling keeps on doing damage here, killing off all the sentries, and all the Zealots are maybe going to...
This is so bad for DroW. It forces his probes off the line to do some damage, but of course
and actually going to get into the main base and spot the Stargate that is not currently building anything because he had to micro at the natural and build units there instead of building Phoenixes. So this is really bad for DroW because now Sonder has the time to do whatever he wants. He can safely expand because he knows that it's a Stargate. He can safely put on some Spore Crawlers and be absolutely fine against these flying units of the Protoss. But he keeps on building some circles here to put on some pressure with the Roaches, and currently it's working really well for him. But the Photon Overcharge is going to help out these Zealots in the defense, and here comes also a Phoenix lifting up a Roach, so DroW should be able to be fine here, but I don't know, he still has a chance to mess this up.
He's losing a lot of minerals by warping in Zealots he don't actually want to warp in. I feel like he wanted to use his minerals for his Stargate units instead of warping in Zealots. He wanted to get some more robust attack instead of the Zealots.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and at least he didn't warp in Stalkers.
Yeah, maybe just getting a lot of sentries to have the energy. He actually did that. Start getting up some energy. Actually, he's warping in more sentries right now to get these energy up, so he can do that attack he did, kind of like before, where he just moved out with a bunch of Zealots and sentries, force fielding his way to killing his opponent off. But got a lot of queens actually getting sniped off at the 3rd base here, whereas another queen is going to try to save it. It needs to transfuse here. Oh, Sonder, you didn't have the... Oh, it's so close, really. It was like 2 energy off, and he had to transfuse.
Yeah, and we see this queen also being picked off. Oh, not quite. No, what? Come on. Yeah, thank you, DroW. Picks up the queen again and gets the kill. And now some drones as well, but the Spore Crawler is there, so he needs to be careful. Also, the first Hydralisks with speed are coming out here from Sonder. So DroW is in a really tough position here because he's trying to take a 3rd base, and only thing he has currently to kill enemies on the ground is these Zealots and sentries. And sentries, of course, only do a tickle beam. But here, Circlings try to get into the natural yet again. A new warp income here from DroW. And the Circlings are forced to move a bit away here. Meanwhile, we see some Hydralisks being caught out of position here to the left, moving up the ramp towards the sentries and the Zealots, but these Hydralisks still deal a lot of damage And good
Great
force fields
force
come out here
fields.
again. Here, yeah, great force fields. Saving these sentries for as long as possible, but still there's a lot of units here from Sonder, so they're able to stay alive and kill off a lot of things here. He may even need to cancel this Nexus if he is not able to warp in more units to kill this off.
Yeah, meanwhile, behind this, we actually see Sonder goes for +2 carapace and +2 attack, where DroW is only at getting his +1, so he's far behind in the upgrade situation at this point, and he cannot establish his third base, it seems. Gonna come here with a few and sentries. It won't help a lot compared to the Hydralisk, just demolish this, really.
Yeah, but luckily for him, he has a new photon overcharge for the Nexus. That's why he allowed it to complete here instead of cancelling it. But without that, it's not going to go well for him here. These Phoenix are going to be sniped, at least be heavily damaged. And also the Mothership Core needs to be careful. But here we go again. They move up towards the Nexus while it has no shields and starts on killing it, and it's going to go down right there. Oh, a lot of probes actually get over here, and they're going to be killed easily here in DroW without any answer for this. Heavy Hydra linked force is going to GG out. Also, Sonder is now going for Hive as he knows his opponent is getting up to that Colossus tech. He had the robotics bait done, but and he actually spotted that, but it's done, and he did not finish any Colossus in time to defend. So yeah, Sonder
20 in-game seconds was he away from getting the Colossus. I would say he could actually just sit back, getting the Colossus, and then moved out, having a bigger chance to try to establish his third. Even though Sunder's already at 3 bases, it would be he was far behind all the way, almost because of the Ling run by that actually went in the base. So maybe he would have had a chance if he just pulled back and let the Colossus slowly but surely made his way through.
Yeah, and also the Phoenixes were spotted because of that mistake at the front, allowing the Circlings to get in. If those Phoenix had gone in unnoticed, of course they killed some Queens, but they could have gotten a lot more workers, and that would have been able to delay Sonder from doing exactly what he wanted to do. But in this scenario, it just didn't work out, so it's going to be a 2-1 victory for Sonder here in the first series of tonight in the round of 6 in the Dansk Metal Star League. And it was the two first games were quite exciting. This game was kind of less exciting because of that mistake. Some way. But yeah, we are going to take a quick 3-minute commercial break while we get up the replay between Bunny and StrinterN, which is going to be a TVP. And let's see if Bunny is able to lose. He hasn't lost yet, or if StrinterN is going to be knocked a bit down in points here tonight. We will see. We will be right back after this 3-minute commercial break. Stay tuned. Yellow, and welcome back to Dansk Metal Star League round number 6. I'm Ollidan, and with me is Nopziiemoo.
Yes, I indeed am. I'm actually spreading the word at the moment that we are streaming these awesome games, so bear with me.
Yeah, that's cool, no problem right there. So we are going to watch a crazy game here, I hope, between StrinterN and Bunny, two buddies throwing their gloves at each other this week. Of course, doing the gentleman way, smashing each other like we see in Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
That's where I remember it from the most. But I'm just going to hit the watch button here, and we're going to get into the replay, of course, right away. And, of course, this is a PvT between these players.
I think there should be a gentleman's agreement in the TVP matchup, like the Protoss cannot be able to use Zealots and Archons, and then the Terran should not be able to use Ravens. That would be a nice agreement.
Yeah, I would agree, especially if you added to that list of things that Terran couldn't use. If you added some Vikings, some Ghost as well, maybe even the Medivac. You only need Marines, basically, so just Marines and mules.
Let's go introduce our players. In the top left-hand corner of Belgia Vistage, we do have the Danish Terran. Could we call him that? He's just unstoppable. We got Copenhagen's Wolf's Bunny.
And in the lower right-hand corner, his opponent for the week, it's going to be StrinterN, the blue Protoss player.
Yes.
Of course, both players are in the top of their their division. StrinterN being at third place with 7 points, while Bunny, of course, as you pointed out, undefeated with plus 10 points in this tournament so far. So tonight, StrinterN might be the guy that is going to pull Bunny by his ears out of the hole, out of safety, the comfort at the top, and may even allow Pink to take that from Bunny if, of course, StrinterN take this game 2-0. But let's wait and see. Bunny has never really been stronger than he is right now in Heart of Storm. He looks, as you said, unstoppable.
Indeed. I'm really looking forward to see Bunny's play here, because his prior in the WCS tournament some time ago, he went for some crazy builds versus Protoss. I actually think he was the one doing mech, if I reckon correct, versus Protoss, and a lot of discussions has been going on about this. So I'm really keen to see this. I didn't have the opportunity back at that time, but we're gonna see what's. So blocking. This is nice by StrinterN.
Oh, this is really well played here by StrinterN, delaying Bunny by so much, actually. You don't even know. There we see that another barracks is actually going to be put down. No, even Pylons blocks it, just for the giggles of it. But delaying this add-on for quite a while.
And he's not even going to make the add-on now. He's going to do a Marine to kill off this Pylon. So no benefits from. He should cancel. Nah, he will not cancel the Marine now. I didn't get why he wanted to lift up. Of course, the add-on needed to be removed. Yeah, but this is delaying his add-on for quite a while. Yeah. Meanwhile, in StrinterN space, we're actually seeing the double gas, and this can go to anywhere. At this point, it will tell us that he will be aggressive within like the first 9-10 minutes of the game with some kind of things. We just don't know yet what we're gonna see. It could be Immortals, it could be DTs, it could be Stargate. I would say the Stargate would have need to be placed down now, but he's banking up some minerals, so I would assume he's gonna take a expansion here.
But really but Bunny actually put down a proxy factory. At just above StrinterN's base here, with the gas that was excess from that.
Oh, so he's actually doing double racks back at home, getting getting a reactor and a tech lab, and then gonna push out with Widow Mines. This is a nice play by Bunny, I think. I
And especially the mothership core has no energy for the photon overcharge, and only a stalker is out there for StrinterN. StrinterN's zealot at Bunny's front was murdered, or at least really heavily damaged, I see, by the Marines. But here we see again the factory actually landing into the main base here of StrinterN, starting to produce a widow mine. And this is going to allow Bunny to move up into the natural of StrinterN, not being spotted at all by the slow. No,
this is so clever by Bunny. I really like this play. Just walking straight up, like, what up? I don't give a shit. He says he's trying. Oh, do they really one-shot stalkers?
Yep, they are, at one point in beta they were buffed to deal extra damage versus shield, and now then they started one-shotting stalkers. And here we see one more middle mine getting into the main base. Oh, it's going to not be snapped off, and it gets 4 probes.
And we see meanwhile the Marines just keep killing the expansion, but they moved away now. Meanwhile, there's an expansion going on from Bunny. He's just living in harmony up in his base, just producing, having fun. Meanwhile, his army is just really irritating the shit out of StrinterN.
Yeah, and StrinterN now gets out the observer, so he is absolutely fine for now. But yet he is far behind at this point because he did not get to do anything he wanted. He lost 5 workers in that, and also, of course, some units in that position as well. And not being able to mine from his natural for some time is also really annoying. And it also puts a strain on your mind. And, oh, I don't want to deal with this right now. Widow mine, and stuff like that. It's really annoying to play against when you don't have the proper defenses up at the moment and you didn't spot it when it entered your base. So StrinterN may be flustered at this point, but yeah, he needs to really get back into this game and show some good play, because now Bunny is a bit ahead and he has his natural up and used it for quite a while also with the mule. Now seeing
it's not much that he's ahead, to be honest. He's only gathering 200 minerals, 100 almost equal, 100 200 swings a lot because of the mules, minerals per minute. And he's actually equal in the worker count. That attack didn't even take a lot of economy from StrinterN, so he did way better than expected, to be honest.
Well, now Bunny is moving out yet again. The starport is on its way, and
now this time he has stim.
Building a reactor here. But
you have the stim this time, so he's gonna march up this ramp. If there's nothing here, any additional warpins, the sentries is here, but they're not that a lot of energy yet. But they are forced in the base, and now Bunny just gonna stim up into the natural here and just snipe off a lot of probes, and maybe he's gonna snipe off this hatchery because there's no army. There's no army. He's got 1 immortal. That's it. No, he's gonna pull away. He doesn't realize he's so far ahead here.
Yeah, he killed off like a lot of workers in that engagement, 14 it looks like, and now he's just pulling back with this massive amount of damage already done. And this is really down to the fact that StrinterN did not have anything out on the map to spot for Bunny. He just thought, hey Bunny, you're trying to do something silly with your factory. But no, when Bunny tries to do something silly, it's because he's doing something clever behind it. And now he turns around, pushes up here.
I really disagree here with Bunny. He had the advantage for so long. When he was moving down, he could have stimmed up, and now of course he has a lot of army back home here, but he took that engagement way too late. He got sniped off a couple of Marines before taking this engagement. It was just bad timing here. He's gonna move out, try to see if he can get the immortal, but it's gonna be denied by the great force field here. The pylon will go up, so they will be able to do some warpins, but stringent GG's on the ramp here. There's a lot of army, of course, from Bunny, but he's not that far behind if we look at the tab. Oh, he's actually a lot behind now because he lost all the probes, of course. I forgot that.
Yeah. And also the fact that medevacs are now out to regenerate the health of these bioforces is going to be absolutely impossible for StrinterN to retreat or kill this, also because there are 3 bunkers up. So no matter what StrinterN did, Bunny would come out of this battle ahead. And with the fact that, as you pointed out there again, he was so far ahead economically after that run by with the Marines and Marauders, it's just going to be absolutely uphill battle for StrinterN, not being able to really do anything to counter a counterattack that would come for Bunny. So there's not a lot to talk about there. It was poor scouting by StrinterN. I cannot deny that was what happened. He did not realize Bunny was going to move up into his natural. If he had, he should have been absolutely fine, because then he could have used the photon overcharge and defend with force fields and stuff like that. But he moved into his main base and tried to kill the factory off, which did not work out.
He did the move twice on him, but again, you cannot just let the factory stay there producing widow mines in your base. So either you want widow mines in your base, or you want your natural denied in some way. He didn't have the production to keep up splitting armies out, especially not when Bunny pushed out a second time with the stim. So
yeah. We are going to move into a quick 1 minute commercial break. We will be back at 8:05, and with it sounds terrible, with the second game of this series. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Dansk Metal Star League round number 6, series number 2 for this evening, and it's StrinterN versus Bunny, and with me is Nopziiemoo, and I am Ollidan, and I'm just going to hit the watch button for this replay, and we could get in it right away.
yes. So Aquilan Waste. Nice map for both players, to be honest. It's fairly easy to have a third base. But let's see what's going to go on this time. I believe StrinterN here might be a bit more aggressive with some gateway timing. Be more aggressive with putting out pylons, because it is a shorter map compared to Belgium Vestige. The only bad thing I really think about this map is the Selnaka Tower placement. They are so terrible. They're like, you will not be able to see what you want to see. So I'm looking forward to see what's going on in this map. There's a lot of builds that both the Terran can do and the Protoss, because it's fairly short rush distance from each other. So looking forward.
Yeah, and if we're going to just take a look at these players again, we of course in the top left-hand corner have the challenger for this week, I could say, against the king of the hill in this division, which is Bunny, but this is of course the blue Protoss player, StrinterN.
Yes, exactly. We would have StrinterN in the top left-hand corner, and in the bottom right corner, he keeps on extending his regime here, being a really terrible Terraning up the people. Sorry, Bunny, for that. It is Copenhagen Wolves Bunny, and I do really like this player a lot. When I start watching him more and more every week almost, he's just such a solid player, and shows that it's not only Babynut that can do well in the international scene. We do actually have better players. So he's doing a good job for showing Danish Starcraft as well.
Yep. We are forced to be reckoned with within StarCraft 2. We are getting better and better players, and of course, Bunny is, as you said, the newest kind of new branch on that tree. And we see here StrinterN getting into Bunny's main base and spots the 2 racks right away. And he sees the gas, so he knows it's going to be some sort of Reaper play here coming out from the first barracks here. And back home, he's not building anything to defend, of course, because Reapers can only really be defended by Stalkers or Mothership cores. So he's waiting patiently for this Cybernetics core. But the first Reaper is out and is moving across the field at an insane speed here, 3.75. So it's going to be soon. StrinterN has to deal with this, and 2 Reapers are actually in production behind this. Also, the probe is actually sitting here for StrinterN, spotting the rest of the Reapers moving out. But here you see the first one getting up the big ramp at the natural, and now moving up the ramp in the main base. The gateway is being chronoed, so the Stalker is going to be out momentarily.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say his waypoint was so far off, but now the Stalker is finally out, but there would be additional 2 more Reapers just coming out now, so he will need to chrono out some more Stalkers, I feel like. Just another storage, chrono 1 Stalker to be 100% safe. He needs to spread the Stalkers out so they won't jump up in his base. There's the position of the Stalker right now is, I would say, terrible, because he will not be able to see if he jumps up in the little left side of the map.
Oh, Stalker actually taking a lot of damage here by this Reapers moving up. And now they get the Stalker, actually, not really that often you see that. But here we see the Mothership core and the Stalker again pushes them out. But they're just going to go out and put on a patch on those wounds. And then they're going to be fine. And of course they will push up again. But at that time, a second Stalker will be out. And StrinterN should be able to defend this. Unless he stays too far forward here, needs to pull back, and their second Stalker comes out, and 1 Reaper will die.
Yeah, but it was actually a good micro here by Bunny, pulling the wounded one back. Of course, it's not a lot, but every unit counts in the start of the game. You don't have like a 200, 3 army waiting for you back at home. So pulling his units back, making them heal up with the combat drugs, they're really well played here. I like it.
Yeah, and also we see Bunny securing his, not securing, but he's building up his second command center here in his main base, just being absolutely safe that StrinterN is not going to push in and deal a lot of damage here. Also with the fact that he's so concentrated on the macro at the front with these Reapers actually getting into the main base yet again. Probes get off the line instantly. 1 is sniped, and here comes the Stalkers, and actually the Photon Overcharge is used here, so Bunny gets that energy out of that Mothership core, so he might actually be able to push at the front here because that Photon Overcharge is no longer there to threaten him as she pushes up the main ramp.
I would say it was well worth the 3 Stalkers. They 3 Stalkers. Yeah, Bunny, you're so awesome that you can make Stalkers apparently. Now the 3 Reapers, I think they were well spent. Forcing out a Photon Overcharge, making his timing here with the stim. I assume he's gonna move out really soon here. Pushing up the main base so much more effective. So it's really well, and got a Stalker and a probe. So here's a probe, suicidal probe, I guess. He's gonna spot it. He saw all of the army moving out from oh, the kill on the SCV. So you saw this army moving out, so he should be warping in some sentries to hold this ramp. I guess the energy on these 2 should be enough with the force fields. He got 3 force fields.
Yeah, he's going to have 3 force fields here, but he's not going to be out there in time. Yep. He's just going to handle this by the Nexus, and here comes a third sentry, out here, but it's instantly sniped. Okay, force fields get out here, but they're not really the best, actually. Still allowing Bunny to run past them and get into the thick of things and deal a lot of damage to these workers, but he moves in quite too far here and stims a bit too much and ends up being pushed out, dealing no damage whatsoever.
He killed off a lot of gas. I would say that would be damage considered. And he forced the Photon Overcharge. But yeah, he didn't hurt the economy a lot. It just costed the opponent a lot of gas at this point compared to the minerals that he lost. But at home, he does already have new, fresh Marines ready to push out. He's settling himself up for a third base with the command center inside the base. So he's just preparing for a better macro in this game compared to the first one. But we will probably be seeing him streaming out some minor attacks now and then, especially when the two medivacs are here. Yeah, we're gonna see drop play. This is a thing Terran does a lot within Heart of the Swarm. I think because of this boost, it just utilizes the medivacs way better, and it's easier to drop. So the first two drop ships are so easy just to go out, do some damage to the to your opponent's economy. Will we see double drop here, or will he split them up? It's going to get scouted by the observer to the top right-hand side of the map, and he's going to drop it where it's going to see it will be warped in here, and this should be hold off fairly easy. He already got a Colossus here as well, so this should be a quick sweepstake. Yeah, it will be. He killed one Marine, so not a lot of damage done here. Great positioning with the units and the pylons for StrinterN.
Yeah, and here he's trying to move on around here to get a new angle of engagement here, but the observer spots the medivacs, which is really nice for StrinterN here. So Bunny, if he tries to boost in here, needs to turn around instantly and pick up. Loses another Marine yet again, but it's not a whole lot, to be honest. Also, we see StrinterN rebuilding the mothership core. It's going to be very good for the defense of these drops. But here we see Bunny pulling them right back so he can build up his army here again and go for a better attack with Vikings at this point. And also, the third base is up and running really effectively here with the 18 out of 24 workers mining minerals at the moment. So he's going to be quite comfortable at this point, to be honest. Also, of course, yeah, as I pointed out, Vikings versus Colossus, which is what you want to get at this point. So StrinterN, he needs to maybe move out on the map a little bit or get a better spot of what Bunny is doing, because at the moment he does not know that there are Hellbats on the way. At least some. He's only producing one at a time, but he could switch over to Reactor, and of course these Hellbats are going to melt Zealots in this composition, also Sentries if they're going to get to them. So Colossus and Immortals are going to be really big keys here for StrinterN in order to defend this. But here we see the first hallucinated Phoenix of the game moving out across the map to spot what his opponent is doing.
But he will be missing all of the army moving out here. He will of course see there's no army back at home, so he will know there will be something coming up really soon. Moving in that natural base now, sees there's like 3 Marines there, so he knows something is coming up. But and the observer scouts all of it coming out here. I really like the way that he's putting in Hellbats for tanking. It will just put them in the front line, tanking off all the Zealot hits. So, fast force field here.
Yeah, by StrinterN, he does not want to be caught
just
off
buying
guard
himself
here.
time, buying himself time here, getting another round of warping. He needs to. He got 2 gateways not turned into warp gates at this point. He needs to fix that really quick so he can reinforce faster. Keep buying himself more time. And sniping off a medivac, that's really crucial. That's a lot of life just lost there. But the Vikings are coming in, just hammering on one of the Colossus going down. And now Bunny's just been moving in here, stimming up. He knows he got the superior army here, trying to divide the army up with the force field, but that's not gonna happen. Bunny's gonna land his Vikings. They're not using the air anymore, and that's GG. It was so fast done by Bunny here. It was well played, because he made him